Hey, good evening, everyone. Wanted to hop back on and talk a little weather. So, making sure I'm live, doing the usual thing where I let a few of you join up. I refreshed the wrong page because I'm scatterbrained. Okay. So we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and usually I wouldn't come on for those unless they are significant. In this case, I think they are. We have one here over Beauregard Parish and one up here over Natchitoches Parish, and we're going to dig into that here in just a second. I'm just looking at a couple of cameras, doing what I was doing while I was off the air, and making sure everything is kind of set in the right direction. Okay, we are going to look southeast in Natchitoches because that's where it would be. Okay, so here's where let's go down here first, since neither of these are tornado warned at this point. I will show you what prompted me to jump on here. This storm right here actually does have some pretty decent rotation in it. And let's look down here from the Lake Charles site. You can really see that thing kind of curling up there. So we'll be watching this one for the possibility of a warning, of a tornado warning to be issued. But if you're in Beauregard Parish, that rotation looks a little broad right now, but it was certainly something that kind of piqued my interest, and I wanted to hop over here and say hi for a minute here. Flood warnings also issued now for parts of Natchitoches, Grant, Wynne, and Sabine Parish. No big surprise there. But this other cell right here, this one with that little hook shape to it in Natchitoches Parish, that's another one I'm watching pretty closely. You can see something's going on here. Let me check the debris on that. Make sure we don't have a surprise here. I don't think that's what I'm seeing there. But velocity data, and I'll put this in motion over the last half hour, you can see, well, and it looks like it kind of washed out a little bit there, but you can see what I'm seeing. It was definitely a little something going on there, south of Provençal, out over the Kisatchie Hills, north of Lotus, east of Bellwood, and moving up towards Cypress, and eventually possibly up toward Natchez and Montgomery. So severe thunderstorm warning on that one, severe thunderstorm warning on this one down here over Beauregard Parish as well. And they did continue the tornado watch and expanded that area on that one. So they are watching the Beauregard storm closely. It's not quite there for a tornado warning. They said they're going to give it another scan or two to watch that. But that just means that this is a severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible, and you need to go ahead and just be ready to seek shelter quickly, as things do change in these environments pretty quickly, and we're seeing that right now. So that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for another 6 minutes. So they're going to keep a severe thunderstorm warning. The question is it going to be severe thunderstorm? Is it going to be a tornado warning? I want to look at the Shreveport radar on that Natchitoches storm real quick. Just got to look at it from all angles, and you can see that that rotation did perk up there as it's about to cross 49 there. This is going to be... See, there's your exit to get into Natchitoches. That's 138. This is probably down there around 128 mile marker, somewhere in that range, 120 to 130. So if you're in that area, if you're traveling along 49, 71, or Highway 1, you need to go ahead and be aware that there is a pretty stout thunderstorm that has some rotation in that area. Looking to see if Shreveport's saying anything here. That's about, I was looking at something up north, not local to us, but possibly 911 in Ouachita Parish has received multiple calls reporting an observed tornado on Red Cut Road and Prairie Road, that area. No confirmation, but they've had a lot of calls on it. So, again, out of our area, but I figure I'll drop that information on you whenever I have anything new and interesting to report. That's what I'm here for. So severe thunderstorm warnings continue. Also flooding reported at Highway 109 on the Calcasieu-Beauregard Parish line. So I think we're going to see a lot more flood warnings coming out of this. And there is your severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is from the Shreveport radar. So this is a little further up into the sky here. Hey, I see it. Okay. All right, I'm seeing all the comments. Hey, I need to, the next project for me is to figure, because my volume on here looks good. It's coming right up to the edge of the red. It should be fine, so I've got to figure this out, because I know when I play like commercials and things like that, the audio is different. So I can't do anything more than to crank it up as high as I have here, or it's going to get crazy. But hopefully if you crank it up, you can hear me, and then that is the next thing on the list. And it's probably when I look away and, do stuff like that. Seeing some pictures of what looks like 3/4 inch to 1 inch diameter hail out of Ragley. That was earlier. From DeQuincy, I'm sorry. That was from earlier. But this storm right here, that's the most significant one right now. We have 2 warnings in the area for severe thunderstorms. The one over Natchitoches, mostly Natchitoches Parish there, and then this one where you see that green brightness there in Beauregard Parish as well. Let's go ahead and come back over to the radar closer to home. Not seeing that thing wrap up much more, so I could see him sticking with a severe thunderstorm warning on this one. Let me go ahead and take you through that. Yeah, I'm not seeing that thing curling up and showing indications that it's imminently going to produce a tornado, but you can see the red and the green in there. You can see that change in the wind direction here, and we're a couple of thousand feet up. We're right at 2,000 feet up here over central Beauregard Parish. If you're in this tornado warning, or if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning around Longville up toward Dry Creek and Longacre, speaking of that, I need to look at the camera in that area. It's still on the ground, so it's not like we're going to have a great bird's eye view of this, but I'm just, you can always go and just take a look at things. And right now I'm just seeing a lot of rain. I see some cows. That's it. Not seeing anything else. I am going to look at the Leesville camera as well. If I see anything, I will pop this up, but that's what I'm looking over here for and what I'm kind of checking on. And I'm just kind of moving things around. I do see a decent number of people in there looking at these cameras. And well, let's take a look over here at the Leesville camera. Looks like a little bit of a lowering showing up, but let me look at the radar real quick before we go over there. Go to that radar. And this is the storm that's coming in. And yeah, that's just kind of some shelfy junk there, but let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's what I'm talking about right there. This is looking toward the west out of, this is in Pickering. This is at today's Country 105.7, and we are looking out at these storms right here, just taking a look and seeing if anything tries to misbehave. As of now, I don't think it will. I am keeping an eye on radar closely here, but I don't see a strong low-level signature on this at all. So just some creepy looking clouds, but still something to keep an eye on here. Dew points are incredibly high, and what that means is the cloud base is really low. I mean, I think I'm like 100 feet up here, and I'm kind of eye level with this. So if you did get a rotating storm, it's not going to take much to get that down to ground level. Severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like another severe thunderstorm warning has been issued on the cell there in Beauregard. Let's take a look. Oops. That one's until 6:45 p.m. And this is severe thunderstorm warning at 5:57. Radar showed a severe thunderstorm near Longville or near Singer. That's moving. It says northeast at 15, so that thing's moving pretty slowly right now as it kind of organizes up here. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail are possible with this storm. This is going to be near Bundick Lake, Tulla, and Longville. And they did tag this as tornado possible. So that's what they do when you have a severe thunderstorm that's not quite ready for a tornado warning, but that it possibly could end up developing one. So it's like a extra tornado watch, or I don't even know what you want to call it. But that's the sky out in Leesville right now. I will go back to my go back to the radar. There's our new severe thunderstorm warning. You saw the other one disappear. So severe thunderstorm warning on this cell with the rotation. Looks like maybe another little area trying to form there. Yeah, on the east side of it, right out here. So it looks like a couple of cells going on right there. I'm going to take a look down here from the Lake Charles radar. Yeah, you can see there's 2 pockets of rotation in there. That one right there looks pretty darn significant northwest of Longville. I talk about gate-to-gate shear. You see these little squares here? When those come up against each other like that, that's gate-to-gate. So in this one, we've got 54 miles. 54 miles an hour one way, 27 miles an hour the other way. So 80 miles per hour of rotational velocity over a very narrow path or over a very small area. And that's only 2,100 feet above ground level. So we'll see what they decide to do with that storm. Let's see, tornado warning is coming for that. So tornado warning about to come out for this cell right here. So that is going to hit here momentarily. It's because of this right here. Let me see if we have any sort of CC drop, not seeing that there, but a tornado warning is going to appear shortly for Beauregard Parish. If you're in that area, that's where, that's another look at it right there. Most definitely going to go with a tornado warning on this one, and you can see why there, as that rotation is kind of between Carson and Longville. This is going to head up toward Longacre, and once that tornado warning, once they draw the graphic out and everything, this will be official. It will be here, and we'll see that. And I'm going to just pull up that camera. I'm not going to pull it up for y'all because, again, the chances are we're not going to see much on this, but the camera in northeast Beauregard Parish is really close to where this is. So I'm just scanning the sky on that and making sure I'm not missing anything. A lot of low-hanging scud clouds, a lot of motion in the clouds. I'll show you this because a lot of times I'll get this sent to me and people will think that this is like a tornado that's developing. So let's take a look. You can see these low, I mean, really low to the ground clouds. There's no rotation in this here. These clouds are just moving along. These are really just low-level moisture that we're seeing right here. I'm going to make it smaller so I can kind of move around and take a look. But again, we're looking at ground level at this storm. And if we are to see anything, I hope it's not going to be blocked. Well, I hope it doesn't happen, I guess I should say. Whoa, there's the lightning. Just taking the 360 scan, making sure I'm not missing anything. Because to be honest, on this one right now, because we're kind of in flux with where we are with this thing, I don't know exactly where, which direction I am looking in. So, pretty creepy looking skies there. The raindrops don't help it. They make it look even worse. You can see that lightning popping a lot right there. And Mickey, if you're watching, I'd go ahead and seek shelter on this one. This thing's going to be too close for comfort. That's who has that camera out there for us. But all right, let's go back over to radar. I'll keep an eye on that. There is the tornado warning that we now have in effect. And this is going to include Tulla and Carson. And right now, this is just west of 171. I'll pull up the comments here. Okay. I see stars are being sent. Thank y'all for that. You don't have to do that. I do appreciate it. Two areas of rotation, though. The one that's along and east of Tulla, or along and east of 171 south of Tulla, and then this one back here to the west. So two distinct areas of rotation. From the Lake Charles radar, we're seeing the same thing. I'm going to go into this radar and just go up a tilt. Get higher up in it. See what we see. And yeah, there's just a pretty solid base of rotation with this thing. Looks like it gets stronger toward the ground. So we do have that tornado warning in effect right now, and I have the text on it now. So this is in effect until 6:30 p.m. There's an updated radar scan. Again, just looks like that. Maybe that one's taken over now. We have those two areas of rotation. We'll look at this more in just a second. But this is near Tulla, near Singer, moving northeast at 15. And this is due to radar indicated rotation. This is going to be near DeRidder by, actually, I think it's probably going to stay just east of DeRidder, but by about 6:15 p.m. So if you're in that area, or I'm sorry, by 6:05 p.m., probably a little longer though. But if you're in that area, go ahead and seek shelter right now as a tornado warning is in effect for your area. Looks like another mesoscale discussion. Okay, we're not going to read that yet. We're just going to diagnose what's going on radar. So at this point is when I go over and take a look at the Lake Charles radar. So we're kind of equidistant from radar sites here. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, it's going to look the same because it's just seeing it from a different angle, but it's seeing it near the same height in the atmosphere. All right, so that's our area of rotation there. Let me check up here in Natchitoches Parish, as we had an area that these were both the two that made me kind of jump over here and take a look at things, but I'm not seeing anything up there on that Natchitoches storm. So let's focus on the tornado warning that is down here over Beauregard Parish, and that's in effect until 6:30 p.m. I'll go back to show you the storm relative out of Lake Charles. That one seemed to show it a little bit better. So yeah, right along 171 there, that's where we would see something if we did have a tornado out of this. Nothing showing up on correlation coefficient, so that's how we track the debris. We're not seeing anything there. All the things you're seeing there, those are other little elements, be it inflow or birds or maybe hail. Let's see. Yeah, it's not hail. It's just out there in that clearer air, so we're not seeing anything with that. If we see a tornado with this, it's going to be down in this area right here along 171, maybe just west or just east, right along that corridor there between Longville and DeRidder. So not a great time to be traveling that way. Not only the tornado warning, but you have very heavy rain falling as well. So let's take the big view here, put this into motion, and show you what's been going on for the last hour. Kind of show you the evolution of all this. But very heavy rainfall. That part of the line up north is just chugging east toward Mississippi, and this may eventually outrun the forcing. But what it's doing is it's going to lay down this boundary across our area. It's going to stop the warm front from going north. We're going to get the outflow from this line of storms, and that's where over the next 3 or 4 hours, we're going to see things really set up over... oh, thank you, Mickey. I appreciate you. The barn is north. The pasture is southwest. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go back over there. Barn is north, pasture is southwest. Okay, so the barn. All right, let's take a look at things. Let's go back to the camera site. And go back out over the pasture and see what we have. And it looks like a little bit of a lowering, a little bit of a base there on this thing, but I'm not seeing anything on the ground or anything like that right now as we look at this storm that is pretty darn close to the camera site right now. That doesn't mean just because I'm looking at this, I mean, there could be something behind the solar panel right there. So I can't tell you for sure that something is or is not happening, but I can tell you there's a tornado warning. There is some rotation in the storm, though, at least as of the last scan I've seen. Well, no, this scan's worse. So right there to the east of 171, kind of in the northeastern corner of this warning, that is where I'm watching things. And I'm not even sure. Again, I'm talking about the radar, but we've got the camera up because it does look at least somewhat interesting here right now, as this storm is showing some pretty strong rotation. Now, don't think that something like that is a tornado, because we get raindrops on things and it makes it look a little wonky, but I am going to keep an eye on this one and look for signs of rotation with this storm as it continues on in. But you can see those low-hanging kind of fingers like hanging out of this cloud right now. And we do have that tornado warning going on for this storm. So we'll keep it with this right now and keep an eye on this thing. Let me do one thing, make sure I'm zoomed all the way out, and I'm going to tick the camera just a hair to the right, because that's going to move that. That's going to make that raindrop hit a different spot. So see, when I move that little dark spot stays there. That made it look really scary. That actually kind of looks like it's got that wall cloud look to it there to the left here. So that area right there, watching this cell that is moving toward the northeast. This part is just east of 171, and I wish we had the full view of it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles on this kind of thing. But lowering on this storm as it continues to move toward the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. I'll put this in motion for you, and I'm going to go back to the camera, or I'm going to go back to the radar. But that's what I'm looking at right here in the northeastern part of that warning. That area is southwest of Kipling, east of 171. That's what I'm keeping a close eye on here, and I'm going to fool with the camera while I'm not having to mess with y'all too much. That lightning is just a popping out there, though. Tornado warning does continue until 6:30 p.m. for Beauregard Parish. And it looks like that whatever we have on that wall cloud is going to be going behind the solar panel here. Hold on. All right, let's go back over to that. Take a look at the camera. I've got radar up here. Again, it's going to look a little weird here with the raindrops that get on this. You can see the drop right there, and then I'm not sure exactly what that is, but here comes whatever it is, and we're going to keep an eye on this one. Hopefully we don't see any surprises out of this thing, but you can see the cloud motion up there at the top of the screen. The raindrops are definitely causing a little bit of an issue here, so we're not seeing a completely clear picture, and I think we're going to see a lot more raindrops here in just a few seconds. But hopefully we keep power on this, because that means Mickey's doing okay, and we're going to keep an eye on this storm as the tornado warning continues over central Beauregard Parish. This is going to probably be reissued, I would imagine, the way it's looking now. They're holding the warning for now Since I'm losing it here, I'm going to try to go over here and see if we see anything. We get all that equipment down here, so it's going to be tough to see. What I'll do is go back to radar, and I'll keep an eye on it and see if I see anything or if I lose the feed or anything like that. And Mickey, please text me if you have any sort of update on that, on how y'all are doing. But right now, things are looking good. Thank you. I see that. All right. Excellent. Okay. So tornado warning continues for this cell. You can see the rotation is clear as day right there. I'll zoom in on it, show you where. I'll pause it so we're not zipping through this thing. That right there, very easy to spot. This is east of 171. This is heading northeast toward 26, and this is headed toward Sugartown, Kipling, Longacre, that area. I'm seeing the wind pick up a little bit here. Nothing tornadic or anything too crazy, but the trees are certainly blowing. Trying to see if this thing's going to pop out the other side and we can keep an eye on it that way. There is that area of rotation, might be backing a little to the left there. We've seen that a few times today. Rain is definitely picking up here. So now I'm looking more toward the barn, so I'm looking more to that north side, but with this thing being so close, I'm just kind of scanning around, and now the rain's just taken over. So now I'm going to just keep an eye on this, make sure trees don't start falling or the roof doesn't fly off the barn. But that tornado warning continues over the northeastern part of this warning. Now, if you're back here, if you're, there's not really a town here to say, but if you're just north of Longville on 171 by a little bit, there they've reissued or they've redrawn that tornado warning. So let me see. This goes until they kept it just until 6:30, but that's the new tornado warning. It's basically along 171 and east. It's a pretty small area here as warnings go. That's going to head up toward Longacre and probably stay west of Kipling. So let's go over to reflectivity. Glad to see we still have power, though I know he has solar power, so I don't know exactly what what all that means. But this is all about to come up overhead here in Rapides Parish. We've kind of been skating in between things, but everything's converging on top of us right now as these thunderstorms intensify, and we see some rotation evident with at least a couple of these. One over Natchitoches Parish that looks like it's probably being north of the warm front. I think it probably ended up losing that rotation. Let's take a look. Yep, not seeing it. But down here on this cell right here, let's go to Lake Charles. You can see what's going on there. There's a curl in the clouds there. We got a rotation going for sure on this one, though it doesn't look quite as strong as it did just a few minutes ago. And you can see how that one piece kind of split off to the left, so that one rocketed off to the left, and then this other one develops out to the east. New flood warning in effect now. This includes southwestern Beauregard Parish, and I think we're going to see a lot more flood warnings through the night. But for right now, the focus is going to be that tornado warning in Beauregard Parish that goes until 6:30. You can see small area covered by this. I love when they do this because that just shows, that keeps a lot of you from having to panic if you're not in that warning. So this warning right here, if you're in that, you're definitely in that threat zone for the highest threat for potential tornado. I was going to say potential and possible. They don't mix. I can tell you this, the pasture is getting full of water, but everything is intact, and the wind looks pretty calm right now. So I'll keep an eye on that. Still have a tornado warning for another 15 minutes on this one. I'm just checking the Shreveport chat, make sure I'm not missing anything there. Looks like some pretty large trees down up in Monroe, again out of the area. And it's just a bunch of flood warnings popping right now. And I think that's where we are going to get into the evening here. We're gonna not completely transition out of a severe threat into the threat for just flooding, but I do think that's going to be the most it already is the most widespread issue right now as very heavy rain continues across a good chunk of central Louisiana. And we're going to see more heavy rain through the evening. Let me put it back to regular mode on radar. Sorry if I'm missing comments here. Let's see. Tornado watch until 9 p.m. So that goes until 9 here. Out to the east, it goes until 1 a.m. They have it until 1 a.m. for Concordia and Catahoula. I think that's probably going to be allowed to get trimmed down sooner than that. Yeah, it's so far, DeRitter, you're not in the tornado warning. I think you're going to stay. That's going to stay to your east. Now, we have seen some of these kind of take that hard left, but as of now, this one is not doing that. All right, so tornado warning until 6:30 over a small portion. I mean, looking at the dimensions of this thing's tiny. I mean, it's 6 miles by 4 miles, so like 24 square miles. I did that in my head. That is a small tornado warning. We have a severe thunderstorm warning around that. Velocity not showing the same signature we were seeing earlier. We're going to check our other radar. Those we're hitting slightly different levels now, up at 2,500 feet, and still some broad rotation in there, but not seeing anything imminent with this tornado warning, and certainly not seeing anything on the debris. So everyone in the area right now, you have a chance for flooding. We have a flood watch. The area that is most likely to see flooding problems, I mean, it's pretty much going to be everywhere. I think we're going to see flood warnings pretty well fill in through the night as you can see these storms continue out to the west. I'll put the big mosaic radar in motion for like 4 hours and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so over the last 4 hours, these storms kind of charged to the east. We've had our confirmed tornadoes up that way, then more storms forming out ahead of this, and then we're going to basically see this push slowly south, and then the storms down to the south kind of meeting up here. They kind of converge on central Louisiana right here in the area that's in the green and is not seeing the worst of this now. And then it's going to slowly sink south. Once this thing kind of takes over, that is going to push everything onto the east, but it's going to take us at least 3 or 4 more hours to get this through the area. There's your new tornado watch that gets popped up right here. We're going to see that red, and there it goes across southern Louisiana into parts of Mississippi as well. So if you're traveling anywhere, Houston, if you're heading to Dallas, you got to go through this. Jackson, Mississippi, it's a nightmare to be out on the roadways tonight for sure, as we have very heavy rainfall, flood warnings across a good chunk of the state, and we are going to see more of this over the next several hours. Let's go back in and take a look at our tornado warned storm. Oops. And our velocity still showing some rotation there, again, southwest of Longacre. Got my cameras here. I'm just taking a look, making sure nothing's blowing away. As of now, things are looking pretty good. Okay, gonna go back over. Yeah, everything looks fine on the DeRitter camera. It's raining, but we're not seeing. And when I say DeRitter, I'm talking northeast Beauregard Parish. This is not in DeRitter. I think it's between Sugartown and DeRitter, and it's kind of out right like in this area, something like that. So let's take a look at the big picture on this. Flood warnings going until, well, it doesn't show me. I guess it takes over. Let's see. Those flood warnings are in effect until 9:15 p.m. 1 to 2 inches of rain has fallen, so flooding is already happening in some spots, and there's a lot more rain on the way. Tornado warning will go for one more scan, and then they're going to let that go away. Oh, they let it go. All right, so with no tornado warning right now, I think we're going to not completely, again, transition into just a flood threat, but I think all this kind of converges right overhead here in Vernon, Rapides, Avoyelles. You're already getting it in the other parishes. I mean, pretty much everyone but St. Landry's been getting hammered so far. Let's take a look at the last 6 hours on rainfall totals, and yeah, we were talking 3 to 6, and while we have not seen that right up here, in northwestern Rapides into eastern Vernon, take a look at some of these totals. And again, radar estimates, but 4.5 inches, 2.4 up toward Natchitoches, 3.8. This is falling in no time at all. If I go to, this is the 6 hour, go to 3 hours. That's all in the last 3 hours. And I would bet, let's go with the national here. I think I can do it in 1 hour. Yeah. So in the last hour, we're still getting 2.4 inches in 1 hour, 2.5 in parts of Beauregard Parish. That right there can cause flooding. So we get multiple hours of that, and that's when we see big problems. So we're going to be starting to look for hot spots on radar where we're seeing those heavier rainfall totals showing up. And Beauregard Parish up in Natchitoches, that's where we're seeing it right now, and that's why we have those flood warnings. Let me take one look at this before I jump off here, make sure we don't have anything trying to curl up there. Yeah, I don't see that. Okay. Nothing going there. So I'm going to take a break, get out of here for a bit, and I will be back next time I see something really jumping out at me. But right now, it looks like that tornado watch goes until 9 p.m. for most of the area. I think after 9, this does transition into more of a flood threat. There is still a tornado threat. Obviously, we just had a tornado warning we were watching. But for right now, it looks like that tornado threat maybe slightly lowering just a little bit. But the heavy rain threat, it's just getting cranked up here. So flood warnings, I think, are going to expand over the next few hours. I'll be back in a bit with